Fans of Wolverine, one of the X-Men's most prolific members, would be quite familiar with his knuckles bruised from a fistfight while remaining nonchalant about the wreckage around him. It's a scene that's been a part of many comics about the character's adventures, and also featured on a teaser for Insomniac's upcoming game about the character nearly 4 years ago at the PlayStation Showcase in September of 2021. That reveal was quite the surprise and had fans of Marvel and the X-Men quite taken aback to see the studio that produced quite neighborhood-friendly Spider-Man titles take on a character whose stories generally were a lot darker and grittier. However, things have been quiet since then, with little to no new information about the game being given to legions of fans who are eager to sink their claws, pun intended, into a title that seems to bridge the gap between Hugh Jackman's take on the character and his iconic comic book storylines. What's going on with Marvel's Wolverine? Why haven't we heard more about a title that had quite a positive response to a teaser that barely lasted a minute long? How long more do we have to wait before we get a chance to step into Logan's shoes and dole out some old-fashioned justice to whomever is bold enough to get on our nerves? Well, we're going to try and answer those questions and more as we take a look at where this highly anticipated title currently stands. Let's begin with Insomniac's announcement of Spider-Man 2, the sequel to 2020's Miles Morales, which happened alongside the reveal of Marvel's Wolverine. As of 2023, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 has since come and gone, leaving behind quite the cliffhanger that has all but ensured that the franchise is going to be a trilogy sometime in the near future. It also paved the way for rumors about a possible game based on the title's main antagonist, Venom. While speculations about the Venom game could be taken with a pinch of salt, Spider-Man 3 could very well be on Insomniac's list of priorities considering how well the previous two titles have been received. But what about Wolverine? A post from the developers on Insomniac's handle on X, formerly Twitter, takes us back to December of 2023, when a cyber attack prompted the studio to extend a show of support to its developers and respond to leaked gameplay footage, assuring its fans that Wolverine was still in early production and that more official details would be shared when the time is right. A more recent post includes a very warm welcome to a new batch of interns. Aside from being very heartwarming indeed, the post also mentioned that some of these new additions to Insomniac's ranks would be contributing to the development of Marvel's Wolverine, a detail that showcases that the game continues to be in deep development as of May 2025. Funnily enough, the studio put Venom front and center on its post about Spider-Man 2's PC debut, which may or may not be an indication that Venom is another character it's aiming to bring to life on the PS5 with his own adventure. That does remain a possibility if you consider that post-credits scene from Spider-Man 2 though. However, as far as Wolverine is concerned, the studio has been staunchly quiet, seeking only to assure its fans that the game is indeed in development, while sharing little to no information about how it has been shaping up in the 4 years since its announcement. Could the studio have perhaps delayed the announcement by a couple of years, bringing its ambitious efforts to the limelight after the release of Spider-Man 2? That may have been a better bet considering that in the time since its reveal, there has been no real information about the game that could arguably be more popular than even Peter Parker and Miles Morales' next adventure. Perhaps Insomniac is simply letting the hype around its ambitious title build up to dizzying heights before it finally pulls the curtain on a game that already seems to be a perfect reflection of the comic's gritty tone. We could argue that it's a great strategy since the studio's fans are doing all the heavy lifting at this point, but could very well be rewarded with a title that might exceed even the highest of expectations. It is more or less a given that with Spider-Man 2 now firmly in its rearview mirror, Marvel's Wolverine is finally getting the attention it deserves over at Insomniac. There's a strong chance that a proper reveal could be right around the corner as we're now firmly into the second half of 2025. Spider-Man 2 was released 2 years after its announcement after all. However, the fact that the studio might have always envisioned its take on the web-slinger as a story to be told over multiple games might be considered. Cliffhangers in both titles have effectively set up the next one, and could probably indicate a lower time frame from the drawing board to development on those titles. For Wolverine, crafting an entirely new story while also having to shift from a light and breezy tone to a more intense, perhaps more violent one could mean that Insomniac is taking the time it needs to get its take on the character right. That may be among the reasons that Insomniac is being cautious about revealing too much about the game before it's good and ready, considering the way that even the teaser had fans speculating about specific details in it. For starters, there was speculation that Wolverine is set in the same universe as Insomniac's Spider-Man titles, fueling speculation that the studio has ambitious plans for potential crossovers later down the line. Insomniac has since confirmed the part about a shared universe, but has remained elusive on whether Spidey would make an appearance in Wolverine. In a conversation with Kinda Funny, Spider-Man 2 game director Brian Intihar confirmed that Marvel's Wolverine will exist within the same continuity as Insomniac Spider-Man titles. When asked about the connection, he stated, "They're all 1048. I think I got that right," referencing the official designation for the shared universe where both stories unfold. Another important detail that we would want to highlight is the fact that Logan's claws are already coated with adamantium, indicating that he has already been through the Weapon X program and is likely suffering from the loss of his memories and unable to recall his time with the X-Men. It's safe to guess that some of them may appear to help him out as the story unfolds, having to earn his trust, which can be quite hard to do given Logan's suspicious nature. There is also speculation that the unfortunate events of 2023's hacking might have pushed the game's release date even further as the studio scrambled to reinvent its creations considering how much of its work was made public knowledge. While all of this is speculation at this point, it does showcase the numerous possibilities that Insomniac has at its disposal. It's also likely that its silence is an indication of great things to come when Marvel's Wolverine finally hits the shelves. That bar could very well become the meeting point for a lot of familiar faces from the character's long history, and perhaps be where he meets entirely new ones as well. So, what's next for Insomniac and Logan? It's clear that the studio is hard at work on bringing the character to the PS5 and the PS5 Pro in the near future. Chad Deason, one of the studio heads of Insomniac, seemed hard-pressed to contain his excitement about the title back in January this year, even as he refused to confirm a 2025 release date for the game. We've announced Wolverine, and we'd love to talk more about Wolverine, but we have to be like Logan today, and remain very stoic until it's time to pop the claws down the road, he said in an interview with Variety. As much as we have pent-up excitement, we've got to hold on to it. So that's about as much as we could say about our upcoming projects today, he further added. However, it isn't far-fetched to expect some sort of reveal in the coming months. Perhaps the studio might even share a bit of gameplay at any of the PlayStation showcases happening this year. That could very well mean a 2026 release for Marvel's Wolverine, letting Logan join the ranks of other iconic characters in PlayStation's extensive lineup of exclusive titles. Will Insomniac finally give its fans what they want sometime this year? Well, it's still too early to tell, despite the fact that Wolverine's reveal would be a perfect way to address concerns about the game's status. But one thing is quite clear. The studio is certainly hard at work on the game, and seems to be doing so with a lot of enthusiasm for its latest project. To those of you who may be running out of patience and want more information about the game, we say, let Insomniac cook. Rushing a title that's shaping up to be quite an adventure would only take away from the experience that it's likely to offer. For now, Insomniac's silence about Marvel's Wolverine is a sign of good things to come. Like all of you, we just hope that it's sooner rather than later. Hey, did you know that we at GamingBolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell. And let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.